If your business is about to start writing blogs, spend the next 20 minutes with me and let me explain to you how to do it effectively. A lot of companies, web designers and gurus out there will tell businesses that you need to be blogging without telling them how to actually get results from it. And so a lot of people will start doing things that aren't actually going to be beneficial or impactful for your business. So stick around, watch the video, and by the end of it, you'll know exactly what you need to be doing and whether or not blogging is actually for you. The first thing I need to make 100% clear to you is there is no other reason to write a blog other than to attract leads to your business or to attract links to your website. And with those two things in mind, I want you to completely forget anything anyone else has ever told you about blogging. Anything about how if you post what your CEO had for breakfast on your blog, you'll somehow convince people that you're a great company to work with. It's all nonsense, guys. There's nothing in all that stuff. So these are the two things. Can we get leads or can we get backlinks? So links from other websites to our site by doing this thing. And the way that we can check this very quickly is using Ahrefs. And we can just come into the keyword explorer right here and type our, some of the sort of words that people might be searching, what are called seed keywords we want to put in here to find ideas. So let's say you're a conservatory company. We can just type in here Torry. We can just type in here conservatory, and then we've got questions right here. We can click on view all, and right here we can have a look at some of these different questions that people are typing into Google to see if they're getting a lot of searches and if they're getting a lot of clicks, and what our chances are of ranking for it. Now, I'm a big believer in trying to rank for everything because these metrics aren't accurate. The volume is good to look at because you don't want to spend your time building something no one looks for, but you can often rank for keywords that are quite high, even if it looks like you can't. You often can. So straight away when we're looking at these questions, we can see how much does a conservatory cost. Now, we know that person is very much in market for a new conservatory. So if we was to write a blog about that, our chances of getting a new lead are very high. Okay? Versus if we was to write a blog, as I said earlier, about something that John done at the weekend, our chances of getting a lead off that, or any traffic at all, by the way, are zero. Whereas this is getting 1,800 searches a month on average, versus your blog post talking about what an employee's done is getting nothing. And even the traffic that are navigating around your site, honestly, I watch this stuff back. I can record the screens of people. And I've seen on websites when people have this nonsense in their blogs about what their company are up to and what people do in their spare time, and people just click on that stuff and hit back and then look for the thing they really wanted. People don't want to see that stuff, right? So this would actually be an asset to your company, because if you were bringing a percentage of these people onto your website every single month, your revenue would massively increase. So this right here is a great keyword to target. And the way that I do this is I actually create out a content calendar. So here's one for my agency's site right now. These are some of the different blog posts I'm working on. The volume here, as you can see, some of these aren't getting a great deal of searches, but I'm going after them anyway. And I'm rating them out of 3, their business potential. So to me, somebody that's searching for, does a website need SEO services? I see that as a 2 out of 3. They are somewhat likely to go ahead and actually need SEO services, but I'm not completely sold on it, so I'll do it anyway because it's better to do something than not do it if there is a potential there. And it really don't take you very long when you get good at doing this stuff. But then something like how much does SEO cost UK? Now that is something that there is almost certainly going to be value in. So I've created an article to target that. And then the same thing with these other 2 right here. How does SEO help my business? Somebody looking for that is probably considering SEO versus magazine ads or Google ads or Facebook advertising or something like that. And so I can get in front of them at that moment when they're trying to figure out whether or not SEO is for them and explain the reasons why it might be for them and the reasons why it might not be for them. That does 2 things for me. It filters out the bad leads, because I don't want to tell everyone SEO is for you if it's not for you, because then I'm going to get a bunch of people who aren't actually qualified to work with me. And it actually sets expectations where they should be, because some people will sell SEO as a magical service when the reality is it's marketing, it's grinding, and it's getting results over time. So right here I can actually get people to understand a little bit more about what it is we're looking at. And then this one right here, how to choose an SEO company. Again, this is something I can explain to people that if somebody's looking for this, they are most likely looking to find an SEO company. So if I can get in front of them at that point that's going to be incredibly valuable for me, because I am an SEO company. They're looking for an SEO company. I'm telling them the things to look out for, and I'm also showing them at the same time that the sort of scams that are out there, how you can find them, and then showing how you can see that's not what I'm about. So this is one that's really good for my business. So let's go back to the idea of the conservatory company. I would put this one in here. So this is what I'll do. I'd put this under the keyword right here. I'll just put it down here so I'll know to remove it. So I'd paste that in right there, and then where we've got volume, I would grab that and stick that right here. And then business potential, I would set this as a 3. That has a high business potential to me. And then we've got keyword difficulty, and that's a 4. So the reason why I actually store keyword difficulty, even though I mostly ignore it, is because I want to prioritize the ones that are easiest in terms of getting these done fast. Like I'm not going to choose this term right here over this term right here when they get roughly the same amount of searches. The intent is pretty much the same, and this one is going to be a little bit more difficult to rank for. I'm going to prioritize any easy wins I can, and that's the point of storing a keyword difficulty. As you can see with this one, we've got a keyword difficulty of 4, so this one we shouldn't have too much trouble ranking for. So that's the first one. I would then go through and just build out more of these. How much is a conservatory? So that's another very similar keyword to that one. We'd target that with the same page. What is the best way to insulate a conservatory? Right, this is a great one. So this would be another really good one. And the reason being is because a lot of conservatory companies, what they actually do is they will build conservatories, but they will also offer insulated roofs, replacement roofs. And I know from working with conservatory companies in the past that they'll make more money off of that than a whole installation. So that right there, what is the best way to insulate a conservatory? I'll tell you the way that you'd do that is you would create a guide that explains a bunch of different ways to insulate a conservatory, and then move people down the route of using your roof system and explaining the benefits of it. If you write something in the way that it's a guide, people are much more receptive to it than they are if it's an advertisement. So if you was to advertise on this term right here, so this keyword right here is getting about 450 searches per month, and so we could easily advertise on that, and we could send them through to a landing page for, you know, insulated roofs. And if we done that and we were just trying to sell people on our insulated roofs, the conversion rate would be so low, because people are going, okay, this guy's trying to sell me something, or this company's trying to sell me something. And so people get this natural sales resistance come up. Versus if we send them to a blog post where we're basically telling people, here are a bunch of ways you can insulate your conservatory, but the best way to do it really is this thing here that we sell, and if you want to know more about it, you can contact us here. And it's just such a better way of actually getting leads. And I'll tell you something, I mentioned earlier about how well this does for my clients. This is my #1 marketing strategy right now. Content marketing, it is brilliant. And even if you was to send, like, you write out that blog post explaining ways to insulate your conservatory, and then lead on to the thing that you're trying to promote, that will convert so much higher. Even if you was running ads to it, even if that was a Google ad that went to that page, it would convert so much higher. So blogging is the way to go, as long as you know what you're doing, and that's exactly what I'm teaching right here. So I'll just carry on with this. So this is keyword difficulty 2, so we can whack that in there. And again, I'm going to say that would be a 3 for me. So what's the next one we got here? What is the best form of heating for a conservatory? Okay, so this one right here, although it's about conservatories, if you don't sell conservatory heaters, there's 0 point in creating this as a conservatory building company. That has, I'll put this one in here so I can show you what I'm talking about. I mean, you may just want to get in front of everybody, because you might say, to me, this would have a low business potential, because if somebody's looking at buying a heater, they're looking at spending a few £100s versus spending a few £1,000s. But maybe you're looking at that and saying, well, they're trying to heat their conservatory, so they may be interested in a insulated roof. And that's fair enough, but because there's such a few amount of people that would be interested in that, you would need to get them into the awareness stage from that point, which means the conversion rate would be incredibly low. So I would put that as a 1, but still consider it as something that may be worth doing at some point anyway, just based on the fact that you can then get them aware of what you're offering and aware of your company, and then maybe this right here would be some sort of funnel, and you would then upsell them. You know, you could over time get them familiar with your company and go, you know what, actually maybe I should look at insulating my roof, and then you might go ahead with it. So yeah, as I say, I'll put this one down anyway, but as I was talking about earlier, from that you'll know, right, these are the 2 right here that I should prioritize. Once these are done and all the rest of them are done, then I might come back to this one right here and I can give some recommendations. So let's keep going. What's the next one? How big is a conservatory without planning permission? Okay, this is a good one too. This is a good one too. We can do this. This would be another good one. I would actually, I'd put the business potential on this one. How big can a conservatory be without planning permission? I'd need to look into this one a bit more before being really confident about it. But just off the top of my head, I'd go with a 2 on that one, because a conservatory company will usually deal with all of this sort of stuff. A good one will anyway. They'll deal with planning permission for you, which is why it would be a good way to get them in, because you could just say to them, look, we're gonna deal with this whole, if you go ahead and use us, we're gonna deal with all this stuff for you, so you won't have to worry about any of it. And if this is one of their objections, is dealing with planning permission, maybe they don't really like going through all the official stuff, which is fair enough, then, you know, straight away we've actually provided some sort of value if they go ahead with our service. So that one right there, I'd need to look into a little bit more to figure out the intent, and also just to see, because there might be a rich result come up. So let's have a quick look. Featured snippet, I mean. So there is a featured snippet right here, so maybe it wouldn't be great, and because of that, I would keep that at 2, because we're probably, you know, majority of traffic is going to go here. So we'd keep that at 2, but it would be worth building out for certain, sure. And the keyword difficulty on that one was only a 2 as well, so yeah, we'll keep that as 2. And then the next one, how to clean conservatory roof. Now this might be good for if you offer repairs. This one would be good, but because the intent behind this search is literally to figure out how to do something themselves, I would put the business potential of this one to a 1. It's still worth doing, because we can get in front of them, those people that may need that. So let's say they're up there, they notice that there's a crack in the glass, or you know, they need help with the guttering or something like that. We're in front of them, and that is a good thing to do. So that's 350 searches, 1 keyword difficulty. So that's another keyword that we'd come back to as we go forward. And then I'm just going to grab a couple more of these. How can I make my conservatory more usable? This is perfect. So this is another great one. So I'm going to put this one as 2. The reason I'm going to put this as 2 is because they don't yet know about the roof, potentially. And so you're not going to get someone to make a £10,000 decision when they previously didn't even know that they wanted this thing. So it's going to take time to warm them up, but still very, very worth doing, because they could be in market going forward, and it's fair to use your time doing this, because it can build it up over time. I would always prioritize these ones right here, because these can get you in leads straight away, and especially somebody like me that's got to get leads for my clients. You want to get things that get direct response. They matter more than anything else. Direct response is everything, but these things like this, even these 1s and these 2s, are worth doing when you've got the main things covered and you're ranking for them over time. So let's have a look at this one. 350 searches. This is a really good term, actually, because there's very low keyword difficulty as well. So this would be a great one. So again, the way this would work is you would say, how can I make my conservatory more usable? You pull out a bunch of different things that you could do. You know, maybe 5 different things that you could do to make it more usable. And then if your main thing is you want to plug the roof, you know, some of these roofs have got skylights in them, and people don't know that you can get those on conservatories with solid roofs. And so you could talk about that in some way, or how the installation will make it so you can use it throughout the winter as well as the summer. So that's another really good selling point right there. So it's just a way that we can create awareness through these different questions people have. And that's really what's important with this whole strategy, is it's like you use somebody's question to plug your product. That's how you do this to actually get real results. And as I say, this is the main thing that I'm doing nowadays, is I'm just doing this because this is really, really working well. We'll just do one more. So how to build a conservatory. I would ignore that one. There is a very low business potential there, because this is something that a lot of people in my industry do, where they'll hold these like seminars for pay-per-click advertising. For example, I went to one when I was younger. It actually wasn't. It originally was a seminar. It ended up being a one-on-one meeting with the owner in the end. When I was quite young, I went to, and they basically get a bunch of business owners in there to teach them how to do pay-per-click advertising, but they teach them enough to make them know that it's difficult. And then ultimately upsell them onto hiring their services. So that is the sort of thing you could use this sort of term for. So I would normally put that in, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to go ahead and actually find one that has a higher business potential again. But that's a way that people would use that one. I'm going to ignore these price ones. Here we go. This is a good one. So how much value does a conservatory add? So that would be another one that had a high business potential. It's between 2 and 3. I'm going to say 3 because I think it's unfair to put it in with these ones. The reason why is because if somebody's considering that, they have heard somewhere that having a conservatory will increase the value of their home, which is the logic they're using to make the emotional decision. The old cliche about people making emotional decisions and then justifying them with logic. They are justifying their decision to have a conservatory. You want it because it's going to make your life better. Like you're going to enjoy the summer more when you can sit indoors and you can have the benefits of being in your garden without, the flies coming in or whatever it is. You can keep your furniture clean. You haven't got to sit on garden furniture. You can be on a comfortable sofa. It's the emotion that they're actually going in on, but they're justifying it with a point like this for the most part. The value it's going to add to their home, so it's going to make their home worth more money. That's probably something, in all honesty, that a husband will use to justify to his wife. So that right there has a high business potential because you can sell them on that thing which they're already sold on, and then introduce your company as well at the same time. So that one right there has 250 searches per month. We know they're sold on this thing if they're looking for something like that. We already know they're sold on it. We've just got to be the person that asks for the sale at that point, because they've probably been talking to people who aren't asking for the sale. So that's what we got to do. So right here in the last 16 minutes, you've watched me do this, and I've got a bunch of different ideas right here that have massive traffic potential right there that could bring us in leads. Some of these, not so much, but they could bring us in. These ones with free I guarantee would. That's how confident I am. I guarantee would. These ones, if we rank number 1, I guarantee would too. Especially this one. This one could be a free. To be honest, I'm struggling on that. But yeah, that one could be a free. Those definitely would, and these would be great over time. But I wouldn't prioritize them. So I would go get these done, get this done, then these, and I would actually keep digging. I mean, I'd go through all of these things here. I wouldn't stop. With those, but you see how this works with the content calendar. Now you know exactly what you need to do. You can just go ahead, build all of these out like I've been doing right here, and you'll be able to get loads of traffic for your website. Now, the very last thing, going back to my initial point about there only being 2 reasons why you should actually be blogging. The one that I haven't really covered here is these links. And the reason why you want to blog to get backlinks is because when you look at this keyword difficulty right here, this is based on the websites that are ranking for this keyword, how many links they have either to their domain or to that page. And if a web page has got a bunch of backlinks to it, so links from other websites to that website, it's going to be more authoritative in Google's eyes. So if we're trying to rank for a keyword that has a high keyword difficulty, like let's say one of these ones I'm going after right here, 30, that's quite high. We'll need to get links to that page to actually rank it. Now, one of the things you can do to kind of hack it, your page authority, is to internally link from other pages if you're not building links in a dodgy sort of way. So if you look at this post right here, I want this one to rank. Okay, this would be very profitable for me if I can get this to rank in Google for SEO costs. How much does SEO cost? All of those sort of things. So I've just created some other articles today, like this one right here. And what I've done when you look at this article is when we go down, you'll see right here, I mentioned the blog post. As I discussed in my recent blog post, the average cost of SEO, the average SEO professional, and that has an internal link that when you click on it, will take you through to that page right there. And that is the average cost of SEO as the anchor text. So that's going to power up that page right there and give me more chances of ranking for it. So what the ultimate goal is because obviously if my domain name as a whole doesn't have a high domain authority, those internal links are great, but I'm not going to be able to rank for anything competitive because the page I'm linking from also will have no perceived authority in Google's eyes. So what I do is I create other pages and assets on my website that are going to naturally attract links over time. So this one right here, free SEO reporting software, I know that there's no customer that I could ever have that's going to be searching for that, or very, very, very few. And so the reason why I build these things, like I've given away a whole report, SEO report here for free that any other agencies can come along and take. And when you look at it, it's pretty good, to be honest. I'm not blowing my own horn, but this is really good. And an agency can take this and give this to their client for free. I'm not charging any money. And the reason why I give this away is because this could very likely attract backlinks naturally. I mean, this is quite a new post, so it hasn't yet. But when people see massive amounts of value, they'll link to it in some way. They might share it on their social media. They might mention it in their blog. It might just get somebody... Something I get a lot is people talk about it in different forums. I've got backlinks from Google forums from... I'll show you one of my old articles from a very long time ago. Where is it? A few pages deep now looking at this. Next page, I think. This one right here. Track contact form 7 conversions in Google Ads. I've had links. I've had links come through from this to this page from Google support forums where people are asking on the Google Ads support forums, how do I track conversions in contact form 7? And they'll link through to this page. Now, when I link this to my other pages, like the ones that are going to make me money, like this page right here, the link that come through to this page is now going to power up this page because I've linked through to it. So I can pass that through. And that's why it's worth creating blog posts like this one, even though there's no business potential. If I was to look at these keywords right here, how to track, these things are going to have very, very low business potential in this column. But the fact that I can actually link that through to a page and power up a page that does have business potential is why it's still worth doing. So those are the things. I know this has been a bit of a long video, but I really want to show you over the shoulder actually how you would go about figuring out whether or not blogging is right for your business. And those are the two things right there that you really need to look at. Is whenever you're looking at writing a blog, content marketing, you need to figure out, can this get me leads or can this get me backlinks, links from other websites to my site? Because if it can't, you're probably going to be wasting your time. And even if you was to give that off to somebody in your organization that isn't very highly paid, there is far more beneficial things that they could be doing when it comes to marketing than writing about some irrelevant thing that happened that's not going to persuade anyone to use your service in any way, shape or form. And in all honesty, show them this video and they'll know more than most people would be able to know, especially a web design agency that's going to go ahead and give you this sort of information. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more videos of this nature, and I'll see you in the next one.